Are you a songwriter? Are you looking to turn your songwriting passion into a full-time gig? Whether you are just at the start of your songwriting journey or a seasoned industry professional, this show is made for you. Welcome to the Songwriter Show, bringing together songwriting news, interviews, and community. Now, welcome your host, Sarantos.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and welcome back to the Songwriter Show, right here on Reality Radio 101. I'm your humble host, Sarantos. I'm a solo music artist who's been writing lyrics for as long as I can remember. Words just mean the world to me, and that's why I love hosting this show for you every single Tuesday evening. I believe in my heart that every song is a story. Tonight, I'm so excited to have on the show Connor Daly. Raised in Northern Virginia, he grew up playing sports and music. He was the Virginia High School 5A state champion in discus, earning him a spot on the track and field team at George Mason University, where he competed throughout college. Along with his athletic pursuits, of course, he played classical guitar, developing a cascading finger-picking style that shines through in his songs today, and he started writing songs. Now at the age of 25, he's got over 100 songs in his catalog, and he continues developing his craft.
And now, welcome this week's special guest.
Welcome to the show. How you doing?
Good. How's it going? It's great to be here. I appreciate you having me on.
You're very welcome, Connor. So thank you for doing this. I'm having flashbacks to high school, but you compete in discus. That's pretty cool, man. How did you get started in that?
Yeah, so it's actually a funny story. I started running cross country my freshman year of high school because my sister was on the track and field team. So I did long distance. I was a really skinny kid. I was like about 5'9", maybe $115, soaking wet. But every day I'd run by the throwers, just kind of throwing, and it seemed like kind of a cool event to do, and you didn't have to suffer like you did in running. So I decided to throw the next season, and turned out I enjoyed it a lot and ended up being pretty good at it too.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I was. It's funny. I'm listening to you tell me, and I was like, yeah, I was 5'9", and I played soccer in grammar school. Yeah. With all the Greek kids and all these different leagues, but I had no upper body. So when I started college or high school, I was like 135 or something. I was like all legs and like no upper body, and I wanted to play baseball and football. So I went to eating 5 times a week, weightlifting, and tried to change my body. But it's funny to think back now, man, like what we weighed in high school, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. I definitely had to put in some work in the kitchen, especially, and in the gym too. But, yeah, it all worked out.
And the fun thing back then, right? It was like with the hormones and the testosterone raging through, you could eat 5 meals a day and you're fine. Now it's like you're calorie counting and trying not to overdo it. But
oh yeah,
that metabolism slows down a little bit.
Oh yeah, for sure. I had to stop that at the end of college. Had to cut down some weight, but we're back on playing now, so that's good.
Yeah. All right, man. So tell us about the guitar. You know, it seems like it's your main instrument, right? When did you start playing that?
So I started playing guitar when they offered it in school in 7th grade. It was just classical, intro to classical guitar. So we did like very basic strumming and no real finger picking yet. But I continued playing the guitar throughout school until my senior year of high school. So that's kind of where I learned all the basics and then some advanced stuff too, and kind of got like interested in the instrument, and it just kind of grew from there. And then throughout college, I continued playing the guitar, and then figured I'd try to write a song because I like playing guitar so much. Maybe I'd like writing songs. So that's kind of how I started playing the guitar.
That's wonderful to hear. Tell us about your songwriting process. How do you start?
So I always start on the guitar because I think the instruments and for me, guitar, it's kind of like the bass line for all the songs. It's kind of like the bass, and then you just kind of add from there. So once I have like guitar chords or guitar melody or whatever it would be, I then typically get the melody. I just put my phone down, start recording, and then start humming along to it with no real ideas or words by that point yet. But once I get a good melody that I enjoy and I feel like could turn into something, then I start kind of brainstorming ideas and just kind of seeing where the melody kind of lends to where the story should go from there. And then after that point, it all kind of varies, but that's pretty much how I started.
Okay. And how do you decide, being fairly new in the industry, how do you decide if you're going to run with the song or if you're going to put it on the back burner?
Um, well, in the past 2 years, I've written a lot of songs, which is a good thing. But it can also be hard to choose once the day comes where you have to start recording some music.
Yeah.
But typically, when I get a song like that I really really like and kind of know is going to be or I'm going to go into the studio to put it on a project, I kind of know it right away for the most part. Some songs that's not the case, but for the most part, once I write like the first verse and chorus, I kind of know I'm gonna bring it in with me to kind of bring it to life and see what it turns out.
Is there a certain rocker or guitarist that you'd want to be in a room in?
Um, I've always loved Ed Sheeran. I know he's not like a specific guitarist or rocker, but I've been to one of his concerts and he was definitely rocking. So I would say Ed Sheeran, especially because he uses a looper pedal board for his entire show
Yeah.
in a stadium with 80,000 people, which was really cool. So he was just building each song from scratch, which was so cool to watch. So probably Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, I've got a big Ed crush, so you don't have to justify that to me, man.
Yep. I've been listening to him for a long time.
Yeah, I've seen him in like 3 different shows, and it's interesting how he's evolved. This one was basically made to like break every record and, all the way around. And it was probably my least favorite. The one before that was awesome. And James Blunt was opening for him.
Okay.
And he was hilarious, but he was such mastery with the music and the pedal board.
Oh, yeah.
Not as obvious on this last show, but he's so gifted and he's talented and he's a music nerd, so I can't ever say anything bad about him. I mean, I love Ed Sheeran.
Yeah, same here. And he writes great songs.
Yeah, for sure,
Songs
right?
yeah.
Like, he's not going to have a one-hit wonder, right? You see all these people that have these one-hit wonders.
Oh, yeah.
His are the kind of songs that will still be playing in 20 years because they're just good songs.
Exactly. Yep. And like some people, like if they have like one good song, I listen through the album and there's, I'm not really into too much else, but Ed Sheeran on every record he's put out, I've always loved at least a few songs on each one of the records.
Yeah, for sure.
He's pretty consistent through the years, which is why I like him too.
How do you transition to a professional status as a musician?
I feel like there's a big gray area line kind of in between professional status for a musician as opposed to amateur status as a musician. I guess if you can make a living doing music, I feel like that would be professional status.
Yeah.
So I am slowly on my way to getting there, but I know it's a process and I'm excited for that process. And I'm excited for the journey to try my best to get there one day.
Yeah, I think we're all living the same dream and drinking the same Kool-Aid, brother.
Yep. Oh, for sure. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Tell us about this song we're going to hear in a couple of minutes. What inspired it?
So the song is called Ain't Got a Cape. And it's kind of like a different song for me. So as I said earlier, like I start my songs with the guitar part, and then melody and then lyrics. So this one started with that kind of dark, deep finger picking, I guess, which kind of has like some minor tones behind it, which was different for me because a lot of my songs are very, very sweet feeling. I'm not sure if that's the word, but this one was very dark. But I was interested in it. I got like a decent melody, or I thought it was pretty good. So then I put words on top of it. And for my words and like stories, I typically don't know exactly where they're going. So I typically just kind of start saying words in the first verse, and then it just kind of gets where it's going from there.
Yeah.
So Ain't Got a Cape was a little bit darker. So then it turned into kind of a song which is about a unfortunate fact in today's world that people struggle with mental health challenges, which is, I've known a lot of people. I'm sure you do. I'm sure everybody knows at least one person that struggles with mental health challenges. So that's kind of where that song kind of kind of turned. And it's from the perspective of you have a loved one who struggles with mental health challenges and you feel just kind of helpless. And you wish that there's more you could do to really help them out. Yeah, so that's pretty much the main idea of this track, Ain't Got a Cape.
Okay. Yeah, I like the premise. So I'll tell you what, let's take a listen, Connor, and then we'll come back and talk some more, okay?
Great, sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. All right, everybody, check this out. Here we go.
This fall air feels a lot colder than last year. But maybe it's 'cause you ain't here, hugging on me like you did. And those brown leaves trying to stay on those tall trees was kinda like you hanging on me. Then a big gust came and off you went. Falling down and needed someone to come and take your pain away. Before you hit that ground, you looked to me, hoping I'd come through and save the day. But you knew, darling, you knew, I ain't got a cape. Those trails that used to take us out to those old rails. Hear a train coming and we both bail, jumping off the side in the leaves. Well, I still go there, and I still wait for the trains to hit that cold air. I swear I keep seeing you there, through the cars on the other side. And like those leaves blowing by, you were falling down and needed someone to come and take your pain away. Before you hit that ground, you looked to me, hoping I'd come through and save the day. But you knew, darling, you knew, I ain't got a cape. Started drifting into dark, dark places, and I didn't know how to break your fall. And I could barely hear a word you were saying, but I know it's my name you called. When you were falling down and needed someone to come and take your pain away. Before you hit that ground, you looked to me, hoping I'd come through and save the day. But you knew, darling, you knew, darling, you knew.
Well, that was a cool, vibey song, man. Thank you for sharing with us.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for playing it.
Do you have any advice for guitarists that are just getting started to use a pick, not to use a pick, different strumming patterns? Like any advice you can give someone just getting started in the guitar?
Yeah, for sure. So I started out finger picking with classical guitar and then slowly began strumming, just like relatively recent in the past 5 or 6 years or so. But I never used a pick through that entire time, which is a lot of people are surprised by that. So I just started using a pick like a year ago, so it's pretty new to me. But so I don't have a preference one way or another with that. But one thing I do want to say about that is, like, if you have any goal, pretty much, even if it's guitar or anything that you're trying to accomplish, consistency is the key. I was getting nowhere getting to the next advanced level in guitar about a year and a half, 2 years ago, because I was just watching these like videos on YouTube that didn't really correlate to anything. So, but then I started doing like 15 minutes a day, working on scales and actual knowledge of the fretboard and keys and everything like that. And I would like to say I've come a long way in that regard. So consistency is definitely one of the main values I hold for pretty much anything, and especially guitar too.
Yeah, I think that's what they say. I think at some point, I've been there too, where instead of practicing daily or 3-4 times a week, I practice once a week and said I'll do longer. But I think you're better off practicing more consistently, even if it's for 5 minutes. I think you get more out of that.
Oh yeah. Yep. For sure. Yep.
Yeah. Tell us a little bit about any surprises, anything you have going on for the fans this year.
Yeah. So, so far this year, I've put out 2 singles that are off of my upcoming debut album. It's coming out in July. And then I'm going to have 2 more singles coming out, one in June, one in early July. Not sure if I can tell you guys what they are quite yet, but if you follow me, I'm sure you'll figure it out eventually. So I have a lot planned for this year. And like I said, it's my debut album, so I've never put out a full-length project before, so I'm really excited about that. And yeah, I'm eager to see where it all goes.
Okay, wonderful. What's the craziest thing that's happened to you in the world of music in the last few years?
Craziest thing. I think my place in the music world right now has been relatively mundane. And because I don't have too much music out yet, so I'm not doing all these crazy road tours yet. So nothing too crazy has happened. Maybe some random funny things at gigs that I've been to, but I can't. Nothing's really coming to mind for really crazy things.
Okay.
But hopefully one day I'll tell you some stories about some crazy things, I'm sure.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite like 80s jam that you'll admit on the air?
My favorite 80s jam. Oh man. I don't listen to 80s music too much, but I'm not sure if the song Africa is from the 80s.
Oh yeah. It's a great song.
That's from the 80s. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. I love that song, and I blast it way too often in my car, probably.
All right. I'm not going to be personally offended because I'm an 80s child that you had a question if that's from the 80s.
I'm sorry.
No, man, that's fine, Connor.
Too often.
Yeah, it's all good, man. Tell us about in the last year. What's your favorite song from last year, if you could pick one?
Oh man. I listen to a lot of songs. I would say recently my favorite artist is Jason Isbell. I was kind of late to the party on him because I know he's been around for a while. But once Morgan Wallen put out that Cover Me Up cover, which is kind of sad to say that's how I found him, but that's how I found him. But after checking all of his stuff out, I love pretty much all of his songs. I know it's really sad, but he has one song on his Southeastern album called Elephant, which is it's a very sad song, but it was one of my favorite songs for a while, and definitely at the top, as well as Traveling Alone by Jason Isbell too. Was one of my favorites. Yeah, it's kind of hard to choose, but I listen to those a lot.
Yeah. What were you like in high school?
I did sports pretty much was my main thing. On the side of playing classical guitar in school.
Yeah, of course.
But more people wanted to hear about the sports. So I played golf, which was very cool to be on the golf team. And then track and field, which was my main sport. I played golf growing up, and my dad's a big golfer. He golfed at the Naval Academy. So I wanted to golf in high school and had a great time doing it, but I'm not sure if I was good enough to play in college. But I did track as well. So those two pretty much took up a lot of my time in high school. Had some good friends. Had some nice teachers. Tried hard on some homework. But overall it was a good experience.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I have yet to play a real game of golf. I've, of course, miniature golfed
really?
like most people,
Yeah.
high school, college, but I've wanted to. I've never gotten out there. So if you have the misfortune of golfing with me for the first time, I hope you're patient because I'll get it there eventually. It just might take like, I don't know, 5 or 10 or 20 strokes, but
No, for sure. You got to get out there. You got to get out.
yeah. So, all right, tell us a little bit about your website, your socials. Where can people find you, connect with you, buy your stuff, stream your stuff, wherever you want to direct us?
Yeah. So my name is Connor Daly. It's ConnorDaly. So you can find me at that name. Connor Daly Music, pretty much any social media platform. And then just Connor Daly on like Spotify, Apple Music, streaming platforms. And I have a website, ConnorDalyMusic.com. So yeah, hope to see y'all there.
All right, last question for you. What would have to happen to you in the world of music in the next couple of months for your dreams to come true musically?
I would say put out an album, which I'm going to do this July, my debut album. And then hopefully start playing, like kind of get on the road and hopefully people can connect with my music. And I mean, that's my main goal. I hope people feel something when they listen to my music and hope that they connect to it. So if people tell me that it means something to them and they enjoy listening to it, then that would make it a good year for me for sure.
Awesome, Connor. All right, man, I want to thank you so much for spending some time with us tonight.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me on.
You're welcome. And to all the listeners out there, thank you for spending a little bit of your precious time with the two of us tonight. We hope your unique story gets heard around the world too. My name is Sarantos. Please join me every single Tuesday evening to hear other amazing artists share their fascinating behind-the-scenes stories right here at the Songwriter Show on Reality Radio 101. I love you all. Have a great night.
Life's an open road, every day a new adventure, opportunity behind every door, but you always want more. You swallow your doubt, can't get out of bed, never satisfied. Your tears just can't be denied. I just really, really hate it when you're struggling. I just really, really hate it when you're in pain. But all I can do is tell you to fight it and help you get the ship righted. I hope you know I'm never leaving. I'll always give you something to believe in. We get past the night. We've been here before. Sometimes we waste the good days, and we don't want the same old cliches. Just be who you are, it's what the world needs. And finding light isn't easy, but I'll always love you deeply. I just really, really hate it when you're struggling. believe in. And all we can do is tell you to fight it and help you get the shit right. I hope you know we're never leaving. We'll always give you something to believe in. Something to believe in. Something to believe in.
Something to believe in.
Thank you for listening to The Songwriter Show. To keep the momentum going, head over to www.songwritershow.com and join our free music community of artists, songwriters, and producers. That's www.songwritershow.com.